Hello, I'm Maciej Mikos and you're watching World Talks, where every word matters. Polish students detained in Nigeria are safe and sound. They have been moved to a hotel in country's capital, Abuja, where they met with the Polish consul working on their release. What awaits Polish citizens now, and what is Nigeria's internal situation? Well, to talk about it, we are joined by Polish diplomat, former ambassador to Zimbabwe and Malawi, Jan Wieliński. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Editor. Good evening, viewers.
Mr. Ambassador, now do you believe in students' speedy return to Poland? And what do you think is going on in ministerial cabinets on both continents right now?
I think the discussions are going on. The most important, that the students have been moved to Abuja, to the hotel, where they are safe, and although guarded, but in a very good condition, they have access to food, and they stay in a hotel. And I think in the next couple of days, when a process of verification will be completed, they will be released. I don't predict any harm to them, and all, including their lecturers, will come safely to Poland.
But don't you think they could be part of some sort of a different bargain between Warsaw and Abuja? You know, used as a leverage?
Yes, to a certain extent, true. But taking into consideration the fact what I have received from my source in Kano, the students themselves involve themselves in a situation which was very critical. According to the information received, it was a curfew, and they decided to go and photograph the anti-government demonstration by their phones, which caused the action on behalf of the security forces of Nigeria. I don't know if it is true or not, but what my source told me, that security forces in Nigeria have the photographs which were taken when our students are trying to take picture of an anti-government demonstration.
One thing is taking a picture of an anti-government demonstration. The other is waving a Russian flag. Now, do you think this took place?
No, I don't think. You know, my prediction is that these Russian flags were carried by Muslims brought by Russians from Niger. And additionally, they were supported by some Muslims from Kano area who are not happy with the present measures taken by the Nigerian government. But I don't think that Polish students were carrying the Russian flags. It's simply impossible.
Yeah, it just sounds bizarre, but you know, stranger things can happen.
Very true, very true.
Mr. Ambassador, Polish Foreign Ministry advises Polish citizens against going to Nigeria these days. So, as you touched upon the internal situation in this country, could you tell us more about it?
I think it's a warning to be on a safe side, you know, but I don't think. I have a few friends who are flying to Lagos tomorrow. They are flying on business, and they do ask me if I see any danger if they will go to Nigeria. I said no. No, there are some areas like southeast or northeast when you have this insurgency or radical views, you know, by some tribes. But area around Lagos or Abuja are safe.
Because what we get here is the picture of a country that's in a turmoil because of President Tinubu's painful economic reforms.
Yes,
and
very correct. Very
people
correct.
are
but
mostly
not the country. Some areas. Some areas. You know, from 2000 up to 2014, the Nigeria, which is the biggest African economy with the biggest population, has noticed a very good growth, almost 8% per year. But then the prices for oil collapsed, and oil is the main export of Nigeria. So the situation was very complicated. Additionally, Nigeria wanted to enjoy benefits from International Monetary Fund and World Bank. So the bank advised Nigeria to go along the path of macroeconomic reforms. These reforms included the cut oil subsidies and food subsidies. And many members of the society are unhappy. But in my opinion, Tinubu government have no choice. They must go, because it is the only way how they can improve the biggest African economy.
And how is Russia exploiting the situation? Because these flags were, though, not without a reason.
Yes, everywhere. You know, Niger is bordering Nigeria, so it's quite easy. You have a Wagner Group presently in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Central African Republic. Yes. So bring some militant into Nigeria, it's not difficult. Additionally, to pay some money, people who are living in a poverty, to go on an anti-government demonstration, it's not a difficult task. I think somebody told these people to make the demonstration in particular area. Additionally, you have also the group called Boko Haram.
All right, yes.
Terrorist organization, which is trying to create the Sharia law in area. That's why politically, the situation around Kano and in those states is very difficult. The government is trying to control the situation, but Boko Haram has many followers in the area. So sometimes they are warning military about the movement of Boko Haram, and on the other side, they also give the information to Boko Haram about the military movement. That's why this complicates the situation around these states extensively.
Right. What is the narrative Russia is spreading in Africa? And what's the truth of it? Because it may sound attractive to some of the regional leaders, but what's the truth of the Russian support?
The truth is that Russians want to exploit the natural resources. You know, you should take into consideration that many Africans have graduated from Lumumba University.
In Moscow?
In Moscow. And many of them, they treat Russia as a second motherland. So it's not difficult to use them against Western countries and against US policy. On the other side, I will say that European Union and American policy towards Africa cease to be attractive. We need to review, and if we want to be active in Africa, we need to act against Russian interests.
But why is West not attractive anymore to Africans? Because of the colonial past?
No, because we want to give the money, loans, but in accordance with a certain pattern. Observation of the human rights, introducing the democratic reforms, you know, and many African leaders, especially those who are military leaders, like in Mali or Niger, they don't like to be dictated. Oh. They have their own feelings. And if you come to them and say, okay, we will help you, but you need to fulfill certain conditions, they say no. And Russia, China, they put no condition. You want the money, you will prove that the project is viable and you have the money. You know, Wagner Group is operating in Mali. Why? Because they have access to the gold mines. And simply they receive the money for their services. The same in Central African Republic. So the Russian government is not paying them. They are,
so as you said, it's just exploiting the natural resources of,
yes,
of Africans. Well, as you mentioned, it's already Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Is Nigeria next to fall?
No, I don't think, although Russians are trying. And, you know, Nigeria is thinking to join the BRICS group. But due to the economic reason, not political. And I don't think that President Tinubu will allow Russia to do more than to act diplomatically and economically in Nigeria. So, in my opinion, we shouldn't be afraid that Nigeria will go to the Russian, let us say, club.
Now, we had reports that due to lack of proper defense in the very far corner of the world from Africa, I'm talking about the Kursk region, the former Wagnerites, which by the way call themselves now Africa Corps.
Yeah.
That sounds just weird. Are to be relocated to Russia. Now, do you think that this could really happen, and could this impact the situation in Africa? Because if they are not there, Russia is losing its influence over the local governments, right?
Yes, I fully agree with your opinion, but I do not think, even if a situation near Kursk will be critical, I don't think the Russians will move all the groups. They are still also in Libya, and the Russians didn't talk. Maybe part of the troops. Additionally, as you know, recently about 86 Wagner Group's mercenaries were killed in an ambush by Tuareg. And that's the reason Niger and Mali decided to break the diplomatic relations with Ukraine, because they have maintained that Ukraine was assisting Tuareg in ambush. In my opinion,
it was confirmed by one of Ukrainian officials.
It's difficult to confirm. Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Polish diplomat from Ambassador to Zimbabwe and Malawi, Jan Wieliński, was our guest this evening. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. That is all for now, and stay with us for much more here on TVP World.